What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom 2. We pick back up with the Ashley and Bar engagement. She FaceTimes her mom to show off her new rock, and it was really sweet seeing how excited she was, crying about it and everything. I also thought it was funny when at the end, Bar goes, "I love you," and she goes, "I love this too." And I thought that was so, it was a slip up, but she was just so excited about her ring. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Jade tells Sean that she wants to move to a quieter suburb because there's too many cars and traffic, in front of her house. So she doesn't feel as though her daughter can play safely. And Sean seems to agree with the whole situation and want to be supportive. And then he does a talking head in his car. By the way, he is staying at an extended stay hotel where he basically tells us that he is depressed. And I really hope that he seeks help for that because, I wouldn't want that to lead him down into, more substance abuse problems like he has had in the past. Meanwhile, in Florida, Lewis texts Brianna asking to see Stella on Sunday and to talk to Brianna one-on-one as well. Then we are over in Dover where Kail and MTV are still trolling the hell out of us about her nanny situation. We literally see Nathalie's grown-ass son at the dining table with Kail's kids in one scene. And then in the next scene, the nanny Nathalie is taking care of Creed. And I assume Alex as well. He wasn't in the frame, but I'm pretty sure she was in charge of watching him as well at the time too, while Kail was checking the other boys, Isaac and Lincoln's homework. Why would this chick be here with her grown-ass son watching your children alone if she were just your friend? Stop it. We know that she and her son have been living with you since before Creed was born. And I don't understand why Kail has to lie about it. Kail, we know this girl is your nanny. It's okay. You're a single mom to 4 kids, one of which is a toddler, the other is an infant, the other 2 are still super young and, doing digital learning. You've got businesses to run. I get it. It's normal to me that you would have a nanny to help you with all of that stuff. I just think that you need to be honest about it in the title cards, but I digress. Out in West Virginia, Leah puts on her best bronzer and talks to her sister Victoria about the tumor that she found in her breast. By the way, it thankfully is not cancerous. So seeing Victoria reminded me that we followed her 90-day fiance-esque pregnancy and birthing story and then just dropped her like a hot potato once she dropped the baby. What was that about? I want to know what's going on with the random dude who impregnated her. And speaking of weird, why doesn't Leah have medical insurance? Sis, you've got a Louis Vuitton never full bag, but you don't have health insurance? You can hire an immigration attorney for the literal stranger that impregnated your dumb ass sister, but you don't have health insurance? You've got all those dogs and cats, but you don't have health insurance? It's the clownery for me. At first I was like, okay, well, maybe Allie's costs are adding up and Corey's insurance doesn't fully cover her or something like that. But no, she's like, all of my kids are covered through their dad. So what is the excuse for Leah not having health insurance? She makes more than enough money to pay for her own private insurance. To me, that was just plain irresponsible. She was like, I've always avoided going to the doctor. So are you not getting checked out on an annual basis? Do you not understand what the word accident means? The way you text and drive all the time, just like your friend Kail, I would think that you would be like, you know what, this might get me into a crash one day. Let me throw some insurance on myself just in case. She said that as she stands right now, she wouldn't be able to afford the surgery that she would need to remove the tumor. Oh my God, you guys, this was so irresponsible. It really was. We are back down south in Florida again, where I think it's funny how Lewis is quote unquote not consistent, but Stella still deserves to have a relationship with her dad. So, Brianna is going to allow Lewis to just waltz on in here and see Stella after ghosting her for months, as he always does. But Devon, who is seeing Nova 5 to 6 days a week, helping shuttle her between gymnastics and school and Brianna's house, had to be kept away from her for weeks because he showed up late to pick her up a few times. This is Brianna being hypocritical as always. So, by the way, Lewis hasn't even helped Brianna pay for daycare in months. And Roxanne's like, listen, this man, whenever he's doing decent with his money, he is out there living his best life. But whenever he gets tight, he suddenly wants to pretend to want to be a father. And then he asks you for money. And, I think she is spot on about this. Guys, at this point, I have to confess, I don't know what state Ashley and Bar live in. So let's just transition here. She knows that people might judge her for planning to marry Bar because of how tumultuous their relationship has always been and the family relationships with one another as well. But she's going to be doing it anyway. I personally feel like if you have to feel this way ahead of your wedding, almost embarrassed and explaining away your decision to like still marry someone after all the crap you've been through together, you probably either aren't going to go through with it or you're going to be pretty unhappy in your marriage. This is just a little bit of a hunch from me. I get like a weird vibe from her. She doesn't seem, all that happy, like now that all the shock of the engagement has worn off. And it makes me really nervous for her. Again, I don't know the dynamics of their relationship because I didn't watch Young and Pregnant, but that is just the vibe that she is giving off. Speaking of all the drama, we actually then get to see flashbacks of Ashley fighting with Bar's mom, Shen, who I heard is like a reality television superstar. Like she's so good for reality TV, but like, where is she? I'm really looking forward to seeing her on this season. I hope that she is going to be popping up because I really want to see her in action. Anyway, in West Virginia, again, Leah finally gets medical insurance, but it won't cover her tumor because listen, it is a pre-existing medical condition at this point. And it's just like, well, sis, this is why you think ahead a little bit. She had so much money. She has so much money. So it's wild to me what she was spending her money on all this time, as opposed to getting medical insurance for herself. No one ever expects to get sick. Do you think anyone expects to get tumors, cancer, the diabetes? Do you think, you know what I mean? Like, do you think anyone expects to get hit by a car or like, other things? No, like that's why insurance is there. Speaking of insurance, she then sits down with her producer and in truly a fashion, she's just lecturing. It's a PSA about medical insurance. And I skipped through it. Free healthcare, can't relate. Back down south in Florida again, Lewis didn't text Brianna back after arranging to go like to some kind of like bouncy castle or whatever to meet up with Stella. And so on the way there, Brianna tells Stella that it'll just be them girls for the day. By the way, Nova was there with her. And Stella claims to love Lewis, but I'm sure she knows that he is trash. She was probably thinking about, I don't know, Brianna or Nova or, Brittany, Roxanne, I don't know, anyone but Lewis. So Ashley shows her engagement ring to her daughter, Holly. And Holly was just too cute. She goes, Daddy, thanks for getting my mom like a beautiful ring. And it was nice. I thought it was really, really nice and cute. Ashley's mom was there as well. And she said that she's not excited about the whole wedding planning thing because Ashley and Bar have already gone through so much in terms of the back and forth that they need to just get it over with at this point. It's kind of like, like a long time coming, like just get it over with. And I felt like it was kind of mean. Like Ashley was already seemingly a little bit insecure about the engagement, like due to all of the drama that their relationship has gone through. The least her mom could have done was to, give her a full day to enjoy and bask in the glow and feel like reassured about her engagement. Ashley as well, especially after that comment, seems to just want to go to the courthouse or elope because she doesn't want drama ruining their wedding. Guys, this episode was truly dry, okay? The fact that we had to talk about Jade being $500 short for her new house for like 5 to 10 minutes was a testament to how dull this episode was. It's not like she didn't have the money. She just like, the teller at the bank accidentally gave her $500 less than what she had asked for. And she was just talking about it. We're like, okay, and what? You know what I mean? Give us something else. So next they show her and her family. So her mom, the stepdad, and Sean were all helping her move out of her house. And poor Chloe was just in the middle of everything. People were like rushing. They're like, we gotta go before the sun comes down. Let's go. Chloe, get out of the way. Chloe, stop crying. And they just kept like chastising this poor girl who was in the middle of a freaking tornado. You know what I mean? Like, why were they so disorganized in the first place? The whole thing was their fault. They were packing up the entire house on the same day, like they're running away from an eviction or something. Like, why couldn't they have done it progressively over time? Sean ain't got no job. Why wasn't he packing the house, over the weeks? Or, Sean never really wants to spend time with his child. So, I'm sure she was in daycare. Why wasn't he packing the house while she was in daycare, himself or something like that? Or Jade, like, why, you know what I mean? Like, I just did not understand it. Same with her parents. Her parents aren't working. So why were they not at the house over the weeks to pack it up? I really did not understand. Or over the weekends, why couldn't Jade have had Chloe go with her parents or something while she packed up the house. There were so many options. And the fact that they packed up an entire house in a couple of hours, was a them problem. I felt like it was unfair for them to just constantly be yelling at Chloe when she was just being a child in the middle of some incredibly disorganized adults trying to move in like a short span of time, like being incredibly unreasonable with her. Now, going back south to Florida, Lewis's excuse for ghosting his daughter was that he overslept and hadn't slept in the past 3 days. He's texting Brianna about wanting to see Stella more now that he is local. And he's like, I work nights, so that's why I haven't been sleeping. And Brianna at this point was just sick of it. She didn't respond. And I was like, girl, I would not either. This man is faker than a $3 bill. He won't be here for long. And even if he is here for long, that doesn't mean that he's going to be seeing that child all that often. If he wanted to, he would have by now. By the way, I'm not the only one scoffing at this situation. Roxanne is scoffing at his constant career changes. It's true. Every season, Lewis has himself a new career. Like, dude, come on. You're a father of 2 at this point. Seriously, get it the F together. And in the final scene of the episode, Brianna's doing her confessional and she's crying about feeling as though she failed Stella. Remember, she and Lewis were still relatively new when she got pregnant. And then, she had wanted to put Stella up for adoption, but then Lewis tried to convince her to keep her and that everything would be fine. He would be there for Stella and everything, and then he wasn't. And then he actually also wound up cheating on Brianna, and she was done with him as well. It's sad, honestly. Like, men like Lewis, I don't know that they deserve human rights. The way he just lied to that girl constantly to get her to keep the baby that he wouldn't even help her with is just plain trash. I swear to God. Karma, I really hope, is swift with men like him. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom 2. But as usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.